What is going on, my peoples? I hope you all are doing well today on this marvelous day. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I bring to you what's something Europe has changed in your mind as an American. So I'm guessing that this video brought to us today will specifically be dedicated towards how Americans felt, the impression they got when visiting Europe for the first time. and I guess how did it change them and their American ways? Let's go ahead and jump right into this video. Highly recommended, by the way. Can I actually, TikTok Reacts. Shout out to TikTok Reacts. The original video link will be in the description down below.
Been to or traveled to Europe. What's something Europe has changed in your mind that now you can't let go?
Just the way that people talk here in America, so loud, so shiny. And the way they think it's better to have a big smile on their face than to have their natural facial expression. People in Vienna don't tolerate that.
I spent 7 weeks in Iceland, and I learned that according to Icelandic politics, Bernie Sanders is considered far right.
Okay, so I only found out about this recently, and it kind of blew my mind. But I watched a TikTok of a lady who worked on a farm, and she basically went on to say, like grocery stores and stuff like that hold auctions, and in these auctions, they sell off near expired or
auctions. What? Grocery stores holding auctions? That's new.
Auctions, and in these auctions they sell off near expired or expired food stock that they can't sell to us and we're not going to buy or eat, and they sell it to farmers, and farmers use it to feed their livestock. So what that basically means is the same processed garbage that we eat from grocery stores
I know the animals eat it
every day is being fed to livestock to keep them sustained with, a few pieces of carrot and apple chopped up into it. Like, there were Ritz crackers in this trough of food that they were gonna Ritz crackers, bro.
What? Are you serious? Now, I knew the pigs was going crazy. They give pigs anything. Ugh. That's why I tell people stay away from that swine. At that point, you are what you eat. You are a pile. I don't mean to say it like that. I'm not trying to be rude, guys. Let me not even say that. But I know some people that only eat pork. The people that only eat pork, you want some beef, some turkey? No. You want some fish? No. It's strictly pork with them. You are what you eat, man. And it speaks for itself. When you look at the inside of a pig, it's crazy looking. Like when you cut open their intestines, I've seen the video. It's disgusting. You seen the stuff all like where they lay, they sleep and use the bathroom in the same spot, and then they eat it and they... Oh.
So glad you asked. Healthcare. And I'm not referring to universal healthcare, although that is a great perk. I am talking about the level or standard of care that you receive as a patient. For example, I sprained my wrist while snowboarding. And although there was a language barrier, they x-rayed, splinted, wrapped, dressed, did everything that they could to make sure that my wrist was going to heal properly. And went into detail about what was happening to my body and how I could aid my body in its healing process. Again, language barrier, but they really did try. When I broke these same wrists in the United States a few years later, I was told to ice, elevate, and it would be in a cast for 6 to 7 weeks.
Hey, word. That's why I don't even go to the doctor and bother. Let me tell it, I swear, I still have some sprained, I don't know. I feel like I still got a sprained wrist, ankle, like elbow, like so much stuff that's untreated on my body, and I just thought, it's cured, it healed itself over the years. And then when you accidentally hit it, or like you sleep uncomfortable, or it's just in an uncomfortable position, you get to feeling that pain again, like it never went away. No, I'm not fully healed. I never will be. What go to the doctors to say? They go, wrap it up, icy hot, aspirin, ice. Like, come on. Nobody got time for that. And then they get, you want us to write you a note for your this and that job or school if you don't, if you go to either or and don't need to attend? What you mean?
I was only in it for 5 weeks, though. Then, when I got my cast off, I was very likely going to need physical therapy for my mobility. However, I was told by the PA that I won't need physical therapy because my wrist can bend enough.
Living in Europe for the last couple of years has taught me more than anything that the propaganda surrounding the United States being the best country on earth does one of two things. It either makes you complacent in being taken advantage of by the oligarchs, or it villainizes you for speaking out against your exploitation. But walking around saying you're the best country on earth does nothing to improve the country itself.
At all.
But saying that you're the best country on earth really helps keep those who are in power, and those voices who are suppressed continue to be suppressed.
And also saying you're the best country in the world will keep people away because they don't want to deal with your BS. Yeah. Once they hear that, they already know who they're dealing with. Oh, all right.
Well, I won't go bankrupt if I get sick in Europe, and I won't be poisoned by that country's food supply.
Whoa.
In power, and those voices who are suppressed continue to be suppressed.
Well, I won't go bankrupt if I get sick in Europe, and I won't be poisoned by that country's food supply. I won't be subjected to laws and policies that harm marginalized groups. I won't live under a rapidly deteriorating political environment that's slowly stripping away your personal freedoms and rights. I won't be force-fed somebody else's religious beliefs when I may think something differently. I can actually walk outside and breathe clean air. I can see people having access to free education, so they're a smarter society, a healthier society. And finally, I can feel like I'm part of something bigger, like being in a community where people actually give a shit about
I know.
one another.
Yeah. For real.
A lot of people are going to say the food, and you're not wrong. Because America's food is so much more processed, it takes like 2 months for your stomach to actually acclimate back to all of that.
Oh my gosh, I know. Imagine how you must be feeling the next morning after you eat some of these things out here. Oh my gosh. I had to change my diet up severely. I'm talking about you gotta spend a bag if you want to eat good in the US and keep yourself healthy. I'm not talking about go to Mickey D's for a quick meal, because it's not the same out here how it is in Australia. Don't you go over there to Mickey D's. And then gonna make it home. That oil is seeping through that bag onto your floor before you get to the crib.
So for the first 2 months, you're going to probably be sick. But something I really realized after talking to a lot of people from Europe is that, unlike Americans, their job isn't like their main source of pride. In America, we tend to really like boast about how many hours we're putting into the grind of our job. Whereas in Europe, they don't really tend to do that. Not to say that they're not proud of what they do for work, but they tend to have a lot of different things that they're more proud of than how long they work and where they work for so long. I'm not saying that culture is not shifting, especially with millennials and Gen Z and Alpha, but it's definitely something I noticed and definitely something I wanted to change.
Hey, I know I'm American. I have never been to Europe. Any of the countries within Europe or none of that. But what I have noticed when traveling to other countries like Mexico, Puerto Rico, like just going around the world, Dominican Republic, every time like we eat the food there, my body feels weird. It's like, bro, I don't feel right. And I be thinking, is it the food? Am I getting sick? It's because we're not used to it. We are not used to the purity, the pureness of the food, the ingredients, this, that. We're so used to just tasting that was seasoned in oils and grease. So you go out, all my Americans, and the first time, even all the time, you go out to another country and eat the food, you feel weird like the first 2 days. You're like, man, why is my stomach like this, man? Feel crazy. Twisting and turning. The food is completely different and our body's got to adjust to it. Then you feel good. You feel light and healthy out there. Like, I'm losing weight. You go on vacation and stuff. And then you get back home and it's back to feeling like crap. Once you get back into the mix of the foods and stuff, and you gonna get to missing it from that country. Like, oh, yeah, bro. Oh my gosh, man.
Noticed, and definitely something I wanted to change.
People don't really realize how different
the fact that I quite literally need an insurance for everything where I live. So for those of you who don't know, I am a U.S. American, originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and I now live in the Nuremberg area in Bavaria, Germany. I had no idea that certain types of insurances in other parts of the world existed. In the United States, I guarantee you, more people have car insurance than have health insurance. And here, I've got health insurance, car insurance, personal liability insurance as a self-employed individual, legal insurance as a
If you're self-employed, you have to... Yeah. What? Wait. What did he say? If you're self-employed, you have to what? Because I've always wondered, like, what do self-employed people, like, say you don't have a partner with a career, with a stable, career that, stable benefits that, like, oh, full health care, fully covered, dental, dental, I was going to say assistance, but dental care, or dental health care, like, different stuff like that. If you don't got a partner like that, how you get it yourself? And it's very expensive when it's not included within your career. Believe that, you got to pay out the pocket monthly. That's why some people be like, man, I ain't getting hurt. And if I did, I ain't going to the hospital. I'm not getting insurance. People be moving shiesty out in this world in America because they just not paying for insurance. They got to be very careful with
And
life.
have health insurance. And here, I've got health insurance, car insurance, personal liability insurance as a self-employed individual, legal insurance as a self-employed individual, accident insurance, I'm no longer able to work insurance, retirement insurance, private retirement insurance, almost forgot about dental, homeowners insurance. What should I insure next?
We always talk
Insure to me if I still be alive by the time I spend all that money. My gosh, seeing that, just leaving the bank, I might as well stop working and stop doing me. Because what's the point? Y'all gonna keep draining me of my money? This is why we gotta get rich out here in the U.S. This is why we gotta get rich for real. Now, to me, richness is doing what you love. Traveling, family, financial stability, but healthy well-being. We really gotta get rich if we wanna. This is wicked, bro. This is wicked.
shit about the States.
Homeowners insurance. What should I insure
know
next?
we had all those insurances.
We always talk shit about the States. Someone who is American, you are always seeing like the cons about being an American and living in the States. But one thing that I learned that was like of all the good things, and I felt lucky to be living in the States, was from Italy. I lived in Italy for about 6 months. And I have realized that as a young person, if you have the spirit of an entrepreneur and you're not 50 years old, it is so hard for you to get the resources and the credibility to just do it. Additionally, it's not as easy to fail and just open another startup the way it is here in California and Silicon Valley. And that, like, learning from failure came from the States. So it made me realize I feel really lucky to be a young person who has aspirations and who has an American passport.
The main thing that opened my eyes when I went to Europe, and this was when I was a teenager. I went to France. I've been to France twice, and I've been to England, and I've been to Austria. The main thing that I noticed was the food. Even though that food is super rich, I still lost weight because there aren't the additives that we add in our food are banned over there. So even if you eat more than you would have ever eaten over there, you still will lose weight because a lot of their food isn't modified. And on top of that, how they price their food is different. Like, it's the opposite of what we do over here. So that was a big eye-opener for me in particular.
I got tagged in this several times, so here we go. For context, I am from Texas, but I live in Germany. So we live in the country. Like, I'm a country gal now. Very tiny village. Lots of livestock, cornfields, like country.
And richness, though. You got livestock. You got fruits and vegetables growing. That's richness. You ain't even got to go to another supermarket. If I can say one thing, is that the farmers is definitely the healthiest people out in these states, in the United States. They are probably the number one healthiest people out of all of us.
And anyways, there are trails everywhere. We can walk out of our house and there are trails in every direction for miles. You can just hop on a trail and bike and walk to the next town. A lot of these trails go through people's property. It's their farmland, like they own it, and I'm walking through it. When we first got here, there were so many times where I thought, okay, I'm not supposed to be here and I'm going to get SHOT. Because if you're walking through or stumble upon somebody's property in Texas, you better be careful. Here, that is completely normal, and it took me a solid year to get used to. And not very many people own guns, so.
It ain't about the guns. What if they got hands? What if they got legs? Oh my gosh. I can understand if you could get it one-on-one with them. When they start throwing them kicks and stuff, boy. All right. Oh. That's the place I live, guys. Don't go on their property. You won't get shot all the time. It's not like crazy, like nah. It's not consistent like that, but there's laws pertaining to that. Like they could blow that gun on their property. So give them a reason.
My answer is security. You feel so much.
And there was like no contact. Am I tripping? Or was she showing like
solid year to get used to, and not very many people own guns, so
I'm running my big mouth. I'm like, what she doing? Ain't no context, ain't no words. I'm waiting for her to speak. Interesting. Oh, that's nice. That fresh air is crazy. I'm thinking about how my blinds go. Man, that fresh air is crazy.
So my answer is security. You feel so much safer in Switzerland. I live in Switzerland. I've been here about almost 7 years this year, and we just don't have the same security concerns. My 4-year-old walks to preschool by himself. He knows how to cross.
What? 4-year-old? Yo, bro, I heard the same thing about Germany. The kids out there in Germany, it's not even like kids. It's like toddlers, babies and toddlers at this point taking transportation by themselves. Like the parenting is different and just the society.
Concerns. My 4-year-old walks to preschool by himself. He knows how to cross the street and everything. You don't have kids getting yelled, like snatched up. And my example was going to be that people literally leave their strollers outside of stores, and there's a stroller behind me that was parked there while the parent went in to buy baked goods.
So you're telling, oh, all right. I mean, okay. Shows the Carfax. You telling us that there's not one person in Switzerland that's looking to kidnap a kid, a baby or something? There's not one creep or pedophile or something like that out there? Not one? I'm thinking something like that's impossible because of the world I come from. But yet again, nothing is impossible. And I like to believe in, I'm one of those people, I like to believe in the unknown. I like to believe in and learn about things I can't see or haven't seen before, or like to experience. You know what I'm saying? Really? 4 years old. Boy, damn, I'd be lucky if I could walk to school or something. Take transportation by myself around the age of 15, 16. It was crazy. Like you want a lockdown out in the U.S. You want a lockdown because of other people's actions out inside the world. And you put it on your kids. Now you a helicopter parent. It's so annoying.
That's what people do here. And my list could go on. Safety, security, cleanliness, education, geography. It's a long list. I mean, I definitely want to move back to the U.S. one day, but with kids, it definitely feels better in Europe, right?
Right.
I could write a novel about my experiences, but I'm going to talk about one specifically. I went to Finland back in December and decided to take the bus across town. I was horrified when I saw these very, very small children get on the bus completely by themselves. They were probably like 7 and 5 years old. My first thought was they're lost, they lost their parents, they're in danger, they need help, but they were totally fine. They were carrying sleds, they were laughing, they were joking around, and then they got off the bus. And it's because Finland is one of the safest countries in the world. Parents there are not worried about their children getting kidnapped or anything bad happening to them, really, because it's very rare. I know a parent in the state of New York who got charged with child abuse for letting their 10-year-old kid ride the New York City subway by themselves. Meanwhile, me as a black woman, if I decide to have a child, obviously they're going to be black. There's going to come a day where I have to explain to them that it's not okay for them to sit outside and play with their toys because they could get shot by the police. That's the US for you.
Wow. That's the end of the video. That was crazy. Wait a minute. Whoa. That's how you gonna end the video off like that? That was crazy. Y'all let me know in the comments, what did you think about this video? Feel free to share any personal thoughts and experiences. Anything, you would like to judge or speak on that you noticed when traveling from the U.S. to previous different countries, man. Please, several different countries. Forgive me, guys. I didn't mean to say previous. Several different countries. Down below in the comment section. How was it? What was the first thing you noticed? Like me, coming from an American, first thing I noticed was them ingredients. My body's, I'm not used to this. I just had a meal. I'm hungry again. I'm like, my gosh. Small portions, better, healthy food. No food coloring additives, all the oils and salts and this and that and that. My body was asking for more. I'm like, this meal ain't doing enough. Hey, y'all stay safe, man. I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video.